We've had a lot of ups and downs over the last 2 years with all these health measures. Boris Johnson, again, changes his mind on one of the specific policies, this time regarding schools and children. Mr. Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Johnson, has completely U-turned once again without having an actual reason. I do not have a problem with U-turns, technically, if it's based on facts and you do it in a humble way and you admit that the first policy idea was wrong. Don't make a U-turn when the first one is right, and don't make a U-turn when you don't really have actual evidence that something has changed. Don't make a U-turn when it's just political and because of peer pressure. Now, we've had, until now, scientific data and science telling us that forcing kids in schools, kids who leave school and just before the classroom because they are children, they do whatever they want. They run around, they hug each other, they get close, they spit in each other's faces. They're animals. And somehow you sit them right next to each other and tell them to cover their mouths and noses. And somehow you're going to protect the NHS. Now they're saying that they have to be forced to do it despite being counterproductive, despite not being healthy and hygienic, and despite the fact it's going to have massive negative impact on their psychological and mental health in the future. This was Boris Johnson himself a while ago, not that long ago, saying the exact opposite.
But not in the classroom, because that's clearly nonsensical. You can't teach with face coverings, and you can't expect people to learn with face coverings.
I agree. Again, I agree now, and especially after that, because I also had to do my own study to make sure that, because I was already against coverings and things like this anyway, but I thought it's good to kind of study a bit in regards to the impact of this counterproductive policy. There's a lot of negative points to it, not just in terms of long-term impact mentally and psychologically for kids, but also in regards to the fact that it's even hygienically and health-wise counterproductive. Yet the Prime Minister, under peer pressure, because he can't really fully introduce mass national lockdowns for the reasons you guys know. I'm going to show you again. So he's trying to introduce random mini measures to, one, keep certain people happy because fear sells. Two, to make sure that there is this everybody around them, all the different countries and governments who, like next door, the Netherlands and Austria and other places who are going into lockdown and have more measures, they don't judge him. This is not how we should do politics. Look at this mess. Because of everything that's been happening, because of the Christmas parties, because of, not just Christmas parties, not just because of the Downing Street refurbishment, the flats, but also because of just general lack of leadership. The Tory government are now completely going to be losing the election that he was hoping to remain in power, and obviously the majority of the Conservatives could be bigger than before. The Labour Party are now 40%. The Tories are on 35%. In terms of the red wall is coming down. Labour Party is on 49% and the Tories on 33%. The question, is Boris Johnson doing well? 62% of the public are saying Boris Johnson is not doing a good job. Does not mean that these people love Sir Keir Starmer either. Is Keir Starmer doing well? The answer is 39 for yes. Only 39. So doesn't mean that Starmer is now popular. Does not mean that you should vote for Starmer. But, I mean, if you want to, you can. But you know what the consequences is going to be completely bad. Very, very bad. But the problem that we are facing is because Boris Johnson, right now, and the leadership, politicians and parties and governments are generally leaning towards short-termist policies. Everything's about short-termism. Everything's about the next 10 minutes. This is actually about the next 10 seconds. Hence why all the flip-flopping, hence why all the lies, hence why conservative-minded people like myself are now criticizing a conservative government. There are loyalists who say, Maya, why are you criticizing the conservative side? Ooh, this is, treasonous. This is heresy. Like, if you don't criticize the conservative government, then you're going to have, well, worse than this. If you really care about conservatism in this country, if you want to protect this country, you need to criticize the conservative side. Otherwise, complacency will happen. Otherwise, accidental tyranny will happen. Otherwise, they might get so lazy that the Labour Party and Socialists will actually win, and they will deserve to win. And then we don't want that. And also, you have to criticize them because the conservative side could accidentally become socialist as well. So don't tell me what to say or what not to say. This is absolutely crazy. This whole school policy makes no sense. And I'm going to be continuing to hold them to account, both sides. Starmer is not popular. Boris is not popular. Everybody is wrong right now in the Westminster bubble, and somebody has to say it. Somebody needs to tell the BBC and Sky News to get their act together and be a proper media outlet. On this channel, we're going to continue our daily updates. Thanks again for watching. I'm my TC, and we are the media.